we have more snow on the way for areas that literally just saw it this past weekend. And we're here to talk about it, get very detailed. We'll do that first. And then after that, I want to talk a little bit deeper into the month of February. I'm watching around the mid-month time frame for a period of active weather. We don't have all the details on it, but I'm going to give you my take on some things, and we'll just go over some model runs and things like that. After that, we'll go over today's weather, and then we'll wrap the video up. My name is Mitch. Good Tuesday morning. Hope you guys are doing awesome out there and having a wonderful start to your week so far. Subscribe if you haven't, like the video if you like it, and if anybody has anything I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put it in the comments below. Let's get rocking and rolling this morning. Let's take a look at the current radar and what's going on right now. I have a feeling that not all of this is hitting the ground, but this is mainly snow out here. And this is our first wave of energy that we're going to talk about that's going to get more intense throughout the day over the next 24 hours. But we have some snow working its way across areas of Illinois, getting into Indiana, and starting to move into southern areas of Ohio, northern Kentucky, and eventually it'll make its way all the way into West Virginia. So this is actually producing some winter weather advisories. They've issued these winter weather advisories here in the purple. This includes areas of southeast Indiana, southern areas of Ohio, northern Kentucky, West Virginia, and like one county and western Maryland. And this is for just a few inches of snow that they are forecasting in this area over the next 24 hours or so. Nothing major, nothing huge, but certainly a little, I would say a light to moderate winter weather event. So we take a look at the latest Euro. Let's make sure we have the updated information here. And we do. And we're going to start off around mid-morning. We have some snow making its way across areas of Indiana, southern Ohio, northern areas in Kentucky, the same areas that have winter weather advisories. And as we move into about the early portion of the afternoon, you can see some darker blues showing up right where Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky come together in West Virginia. This will produce some moderate snowfall, and accumulations will start a couple inches, not a huge deal at all. And then we make our way into about this evening, 6, 7, 8 o'clock. Now it's too warm for any winter weather down here in Tennessee, so this is mainly rain, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do start to mix with some snowflakes in the northern areas of the Cumberland Plateau here in Tennessee. Maybe northeast Tennessee. We do have some snow starting to move into western, southwestern areas of Virginia. And we just have this band of snow breaking out across, Louisville, Cincinnati, getting into Charleston, West Virginia. And as we begin to move into later this evening, you can see maybe a round of heavier snow tonight, 9, 10, 11 o'clock. In areas of southwest Virginia, maybe some rain switching to snow and the Smokies and just the higher elevated regions of Tennessee and North Carolina. And we could end as a period of rain, snow mix kind of along the Kentucky, Tennessee border later tonight. Not a big deal if that's what ends up happening here. But some snow moving across West Virginia, eastern areas of Kentucky later tonight, and then this moves into the Mid-Atlantic. And just taking a look at the Mid-Atlantic here, this is kind of rewinding back in time a little bit. So this is back into this afternoon around 4 p.m. You can see a period of moderate snow moving into Charleston, and then we start to move, and we're going to have to update this. Give me 1 second. And you can see a little bit of snow moving into the mountains of Virginia, obviously in West Virginia later this evening. And by the time we get into later tonight, this is around midnight, 1 a.m. tonight, we got a little bit of snow moving into the D.C. area, maybe getting into the Delmarva, the Tidewater region. So some light snow, I think, is going to be likely later tonight across West Virginia, maybe eventually even making it into Delaware, Maryland. And this is 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. A little bit of light snow right before the sun comes up across the Tidewater, the Delmarva, Maryland. And then we're waking up tomorrow morning to maybe still some light flurries around. And even though it doesn't show any precipitation right in here for tomorrow morning, there certainly could be some flurries flying around. Now, just over the event over the next 24 hours, this is how much snow. Well, it's technically 48 hours, but this is the first kind of section of the event. And then we're going to dive into the North Carolina, Southern Virginia for tomorrow into tomorrow night. So a few inches of snow is forecast. Cincinnati, 2 to 3 inches of snow. Bloomington, maybe an inch. Let me know if it's already snowing out there right now. Indianapolis, under an inch is what they're forecasting. And then we move a little bit further to the east. Southern areas of Ohio, a few inches of snow is in the forecast. Cincinnati, 2, 2.5. Portsmouth, hopefully I said that right, 2.5 inches. Parkersburg, an inch of snow. You get up into Columbus, probably some snow will be flying around, but you're going to be south, where you're going to be north of the axis of snow, which will be to your south. And then we take a look at Kentucky here. Northern areas of the state will get a few inches of snow. Once you get down to Lexington, maybe a half an inch. And even areas where they're not calling for accumulations could certainly get a rain-snow mix once you get down to Bowling Green, Elizabethtown later on this evening. And then you get into West Virginia, a few inches of snow is in the forecast. Charleston, 1 to 2 inches. Huntington, kind of the same thing. Elkins, 1 to 2. And of course, up in the Highlands, you can get a few more inches of snow. Now, we make our way into the Carolinas and Virginia here. And kind of the first wave that's beginning right now sort of fizzles apart. And we kind of get a more blossoming of moisture that gets going again. So we're actually going to start it off around, let's make sure we have new information. This is tomorrow morning. We got some rain moving across Georgia, South Carolina, much needed rain. The rain becomes more intense. I'm not talking about a tropical downpour or anything like that, but it certainly becomes more moderate across areas of Georgia, South Carolina, southeast areas of North Carolina. So this will be rain falling on top of whatever leftover snowpack that you have here in northeast South Carolina, southeast North Carolina, where some areas I think got over a foot of snow. And you can see snow trying to break out again across southwest Virginia. In fact, as you begin to move into Wednesday afternoon, I mean, it's snowing near Mount Airy, a little bit of light snow moving into like Danville, and it's all rain to the south. And then we start to get into tomorrow evening, and you can see a little bit of rain trying to switch to a little bit of snow, even near Raleigh. We got some heavy snow near Boone. It's snowing in the eastern areas of Tennessee, especially northeast Tennessee. And then we continue to move forward, and we get into tomorrow night. This is 1 o'clock in the morning, Thursday morning. And a little bit of a wintry mix here in the northeastern sections of North Carolina. And a lot of times these systems like to amplify, be a little bit further north than modeled. But we do have some snow, late tomorrow night flying around in eastern Tennessee. You can see splotches of the darker blues, moderate snow. And, as we're starting to wake up Thursday morning, it's actually showing kind of a wintry mix in eastern areas of North Carolina. And I just think that we're going to have widespread light snow across North Carolina, southern areas of Virginia. Even around Virginia Beach, the Norfolk area, I think we could have some light to moderate snow, even have some flurries in Charlotte. And then we continue to move forward. And, I think we could have some flurries as far south as, South Carolina. But the system heads on off. And, we even have flurries like Thursday evening across eastern areas of North Carolina. And the GFS shows this too. I'll go through this a little bit faster than what I just did with the Euro, but you can see as we're getting into late tomorrow night, some light snow breaking out across the northern sections and even central areas of North Carolina, a little bit of in the way of moderate snow in southern Virginia around the North Carolina VA line, but we have some light snow in eastern Tennessee also. And then the GFS shows around 3-4 o'clock in the morning Thursday, a band of moderate snow trying to set up here in the Piedmont and the Triad, into the Triangle of North Carolina. And then we continue. And even Thursday morning, waking up to some light snow, and then it's done. It's not a huge event, but we do look at some of these short-range models, and they show it too. And, you got some, this is the end of the run. This is midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, Thursday morning, and we got some snow, a little bit of winter weather. You can see it in the mountains, a little bit of flurry action as far west as the Cumberland Plateau, and just a little bit of light snow breaking out across these areas. Not a huge event, but if you're not expecting it, it'll catch you by surprise. And you look at the 3KM NAM, and same thing, has just a wintry mix in the pink. Blue is the snow, and this is midnight tomorrow night, and just some rain switching to some winter weather. It's not a huge deal, and in fact, the NAM even shows some flurries kind of Thursday morning or midday as far south as the Midlands of South Carolina, eastern areas of Georgia. So that's interesting because I live down here. But not a huge event, guys, but certainly something that can overachieve. For example, this is the National Weather Service forecast out of Virginia here, going from around half an inch to an inch in the Blacksburg, Roanoke area, Mount area about a half an inch. But they are going for some accumulations enough to coat the ground, or at least put a fresh coating of snow on some of you guys that still have snow on the ground, which I'm sure is a lot of people. But once you get into southeast Virginia, northeast North Carolina, and this kind of darker shade of blue, this is where they're going for over well, around an inch of snow. So, I mean, an inch of snow is certainly enough for winter weather advisory type stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up with some winter weather advisories in this area, and even dropping down to the Raleigh area, going for a half an inch in Raleigh. So this will be enough to put just a fresh coating of snow on top of things. Because I don't know if your other snow is going to have time to melt. Maybe in Raleigh, because I know you guys got dry slotted there, but you get what I'm saying. Now, just kind of fast forwarding here in time, I do want to mention, let's take a look at the year. I'd rather look at that here. I do want to mention, as this system kind of heads out, there's going to be a pretty aggressive clipper that dives in Friday. I think this is going to bring widespread light to moderate snowfall accumulations across the Ohio Valley, Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, PA. Now, this thing is so aggressive that it brings flurries and really some light to moderate snow, I would say light snow, as far south as Virginia, into areas of North Carolina. In fact, I mean, check this out. I mean, this is Friday evening. You got some snow flurries flying around in North Carolina, points north. So it's an interesting little look here. And, listen, this could end up becoming a winter storm if you add a trough digging further to the west. But we're out of time to do that, to have any significant changes. But we can have little small-scale changes to this trough digging a little bit further west. That would bring some more aggressive northwest flow action into the Cumberland Plateau of Tennessee and the mountains of Tennessee and North Carolina. But right now, it really looks to target West Virginia and surrounding areas. But it is an interesting little look here. So we're going to watch this. This will bring widespread light, moderate snow Friday night into Saturday morning across the Northeast also. And then we have to watch at the end of the run, a little bit of snow after that. But, just diving deeper into the month here. And we're going to start off about a week from today. So this is Tuesday morning, February the 10th. There's not a whole lot going on across the central U.S., and I'll show you the eastern U.S. here in a second. But we do have some rain, in Oklahoma, Texas, things like that. But as we move forward, we get between day 7 and day 10, so we're all the way out to the 11th to the 12th of February. If you're losing me, just look up here or look over here. And then, we get to day 10, and then you see just some energy right here fire up. It's not a huge look or anything like that, but I want to watch this. And I know it just looks like a bunch of rain, but there's going to be some cold air close by. I'm not saying we're going to have a deep south winter storm, but as we're getting past that time frame, I also want to watch like the 14th into the 15th, just mid-month. We could have a stronger system that fires up here. The Euro doesn't really show much. It shows more as we get into the 16th, 17th. Shows a big system cutting across the country, but that's pretty far out to really take it serious, right? GFS, about a week from now, we start to get the day, we start to get into the 11th. You can see a little bit of winter weather overrunning, ongoing across the Midwest, upper Midwest, and that's kind of a warmer look for you guys as standards for February. And then after that, we get past day 10, and you see a big shot of cold air diving down on the GFS. I can tell because you got the 540 line screaming to the south. And that looks to be something. That's a pretty deep shot of cold air. Now, it is the GFS, hard to take it serious. So the middle of the country doesn't show anything too crazy. Now, you look at the eastern U.S., and we get to day 10. There's a lot of energy flying around, but it's very warm. But then you have this right here. This is getting into the 13th, 14th, 15th. A big blob of moisture right here. Low pressure to the south, and it actually runs into some cold air here on the Euro. And we get a quick hitting snowstorm across West Virginia, just the mid-Atlantic area, and then it heads on out. So, I mean, that's a time frame I'm watching. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but a lot of model guidance likes something down here, or just energy flying around. Now, you look at the GFS, does it show something similar? We get into the 11th, we get into the 12th, we get into the 13th, shows a kind of a mixed bag winter weather event across the Northeast. And then we get to that time frame the Euro shows, and it does show some energy flying through, but it's further north and then crashes into cold air. And we get this aggressive looking kind of back edge snow event as we're getting into the 14th and 15th of February, and delivers just a big old snowstorm across areas of the southern Alps. Even get snow as far south as northern Georgia, but that's very far out, and a big winter storm for areas of the Northeast, and it does have some backside action. So, it certainly shows, the GFS, the operational run is definitely more aggressive as far as a storm system. But if you look at the Euro ensemble, it kind of backs up a time frame here. And we're going to start off around the morning of the 12th, and you're going to see a lot of lower pressure kind of drop down lower heights into the middle of the country, with cold air kind of feeding into it. Now, to me, I look at this and I say, okay, we're probably going to have an avenue of energy going across the middle of the country. The cold air source, it's kind of diving down maybe a little bit too far west. But that blob of blue you see right here, this tells me that we're going to have something active around mid-month. It's not necessarily a huge favorable winter storm look for areas further to the south, but a look like that could certainly work for areas of the Alps, the Ohio Valley, the Midwest, and the Northeast. But you just got to watch. But then at the end of the run, you can see a ridge build in. I would say the theme is, guys, there's a lot of talk about, for example, if you pull this up here, I'm going to pull it up really fast. Do this on the fly. Y'all bear with me. There was a lot of talk. For example, this is the 3 to 4 week temperature outlook, 14th to the 27th, with areas of the east kind of remaining below average as far as temperatures. Chances at below average temperatures, there's a higher chance of below average temperatures than above average temperatures. That was Friday, okay? And then this was issued, let's see. This was issued on Saturday, the 31st. And they said that this is the February outlook, and this is pretty good confidence for a monthly temperature outlook in the blue here. That is a 50 to 60% chance of temperatures for the month as a whole being below average. So I'm going to be interested to see how they tweak the 3 to 4 week outlook or just the 8 to 14 day outlook as we move throughout the week. Because what we're seeing is a little bit of a flip over the last couple of days that kind of pushes back on the idea of a cold February. But we could totally flip it back. For a lot of people, your cup's already filled for snow across the eastern U.S. And honestly, I'm in that camp too. If we don't get any more winter weather here in South Carolina, I will call this winter already a win, even though this past event didn't snow as much as I was hoping it would. It was forecast to. But still, we got more snow than we average per year. So it's hard for me to complain. But we're going to continue. I really favor the second half of February to do something just odd again, kind of like what we just saw this past weekend. I really think between now and about mid-month, there's not going to be anything too crazy. I think it's the second half of February that's going to offer some crazy weather again. But I just think, that's kind of like what happened in January. Kind of the first half of the month. We had the warm up, we had the well above average temperature period, and then all of a sudden, mid-month, all the way till now, it was just haywire. I could see February doing that too. As far as today's weather, I do want to watch some thunderstorm activity across kind of right in eastern areas of Texas, Louisiana. We actually could have some thunderstorms warm up occurring, and we're just going to get rain across the deep south, mid-south, Tennessee, and some of this could be heavy too. And eventually, this will make it all the way into Georgia later this evening, and then we're probably going to wake up to some showers tomorrow morning, from southern and Mississippi, Alabama, central Georgia, and South Carolina, with a little bit of snow on top of this. Not a big deal, though. Northeast, quiet weather today. We got that area of snow that we just talked about breaking out across areas of southern Ohio, West Virginia. We've already spoke on that, and we got some flurry action in the Northeast. Little low trying to pop off here, kind of enhancing snow tomorrow morning across down east areas of Maine. But other than that, not a whole lot. And then the central to western U.S., the weather continues to be quiet because you continue to be dominated by a ridge of high pressure. So just very quiet weather. The eastern half of the country temperatures, you can tell we're getting a pretty big warm up. Big melting today will occur across the south with all the snow still on the ground for certain areas. But then we're still locked in below freezing where you typically are in early February up to the north. And then the western U.S. still dealing with above average temperatures and just a lack of winter. So that's all I got, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I was not able to get to any of the Facebook comments or the YouTube comments yesterday. I was so locked in at work, just getting caught up with some things. And I start soccer this afternoon, so I was getting that together, getting tax information together. It was just a busy day, and I just never found time to really get to the comments. So I'm gonna try to get to those this afternoon. And I know I speak on that like you guys are complaining, but nobody ever complains about it. In fact, you guys just encourage me that it's okay. But to me, I really want to get to them and just kind of see what you guys said over the last couple of days. It's just tough to allocate an hour or two to do that. So I'm going to try to do that later this afternoon. But appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for everything. Thank you for the support. And we'll continue to see what February has to offer. God bless and have a wonderful day.